Peace, everybody. It's your boy, Let's Talk. We back for another video. Alright, man. So, I guess everybody heard the news. The attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump, who I think is going to be the new president come November, especially now after this whole ordeal happened, because now you got a lot of people who are united and the people who were supporting Trump like undercover, people who were hiding for some reason. Now people are openly supporting them. You even got Elon Musk, who came out and endorsed former President Trump. He said that he fully support him. But the point of this whole video I'm making today is because not for the simple fact that this whole thing happened, which was crazy in itself, but the reason why it happened. And you got a lot of people who are talking about it, like people like Candace Owens, and you even got CNN News and others are reporting on this stuff. And they're saying that the rhetoric of the extremist left, the Democratic Party, the liberals, whatever you want to call it, like, this is the reason why this happened. Because for the past 8 years, ever since Trump announced that he was going to first run back in 2016, you had the mainstream media just saying how Trump is the new Hitler. And then with the Democratic campaign, that's their slogan. We need to win this election because there may not be another election after this if Trump get in office.
He ain't lying.
So you got people who are weird enough who take that to heart. And shoot, what do you know? You got Thomas Matthew Crooks, I believe that was the suspect name. He actually took all that to heart, and he was believing everything that he was seeing on the news, on the mainstream media, from CNN, from NBC, from all the people who were saying that Trump was pretty much short of the devil. And now you got this happening. And Trump survived, luckily, but there was a person there who lost his life because he kept trying to fire, he kept trying to hit Trump. And bullets ain't got no name. So when shots get fired, those bullets keep going, they travel. And if it's not no steel or nothing, or nothing bro solid and concrete, they moving through flesh. And you see what happened. Someone lost their lives and other people got critically injured. So this is a crazy time we're living in. But this is history right now, and people gonna remember this for years to come. But like I said, you got people like Candace Owens and CNN reporting on the lead up to this and the reason why something like this can happen. You even had South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem talking about the mainstream media is the reason why something like this can happen to President Donald Trump. So what we're going to do is we're going to review those videos, and of course I'll give my commentary and I'll give my final thoughts at the end. So let's check that out and see what they're talking about.
The rhetoric around him over the last few weeks, that if he wins an election, our country will end, our democracy will end, it's the last election we'll ever have. These things have consequences, okay? I don't know what the motivations of the shooter are. I don't know any of the details. But I know the rhetoric around Trump has grown extreme. You mentioned some other violence. You didn't mention the Supreme Court, attempted murder of a Supreme Court justice, or the congressional baseball game where Steve Scalise was nearly murdered. One a conservative, the other a Republican. But we have people in this country who are dedicated to telling half the country that if Donald Trump wins an election, the country will end, the Constitution will go away, and so on and so forth.
And that's a fact. Like, that's all I've been hearing for the past 8-10 years. Whenever Donald Trump decided to get into politics, that's all we've been hearing. And you's a lie if you said you haven't heard that.
Yo, this nigga is off the hook.
Especially now in this election. That's what the Democrat, that's their whole campaign slogan. Like, vote Democrat, because if Trump get back in office, we may never have another election because he's trying to be a dictator. And then people keep talking about this whole Project 2025 thing and saying that he's going to implement that. So yeah, that's a fact. And the irony of the situation is that you got so many liberals talking about right-wingers and conservative groups and saying that Donald Trump is saying this and saying that, and he's inciting violence, and things that he say, it motivates the people to do harm, i.e. January 6, 2021. Well, if that's the case, then don't you think that all the stuff that y'all been saying for the past 10 years has starting to grow enough into people where people actually starting to believe it? And now you got this whole situation that just happened the other day where the guy tried to take out Trump. So yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same on both sides. So I definitely agree with that.
What I want to hear from all elected officials is this kind of hyperbolic extremism has consequences and it must end. Yes, we're all shocked, and yes, political violence has no place. Where does it come from? It's got to stop.
But we're also hearing from Trump very, very strong statements of condemnation of Biden, the worst president, the most dangerous president, and all of that.
I beg your pardon?
He's speaking very, very strongly against President Biden.
What other wake-up call could there be for everybody in this country right now? I am mortified. I mean, this will live on forever. These pictures we're seeing today will be in the history books of our children and our grandchildren. I mean, we're living through a historical moment, and we have to recognize it for what it is, and we have to change.
You have to cool the rhetoric on both sides.
We have to change.
Because it's really dangerous, and it foments what we've just seen over the past couple hours or so. And it's a really, really scary situation.
The fuck is he talking about?
What the hell is Wolf Blitzer talking about? See, this is what I be saying about certain people at CNN, because he reminds me of Don Lemon, because all the stuff he's saying is total crap. Like, he's being disingenuous, because sure, you got people on both sides doing things and coming at each other, but nothing to the extreme of this. You don't have people in conservative groups actually trying to make plans and go through with those plans to take out an elected official on the Democratic side. You don't got nothing like that. This is all left-wing groups.
You don't find that suspicious?
And people try to paint the narrative that he was a registered Republican. But there's plenty of videos on social media of him saying that he don't like Republicans and he don't like Donald Trump. So I call cap.
You want to add a point there?
No, you just said it, Wolf. Scott, your point is so well taken that the escalation of rhetoric is something that, if you just look back in history, it doesn't take a lot to dig and find that people take cues from not just leaders, but from people around them. And when violence happens, sometimes things are uncorked, and it is important for leaders across the board, as we are seeing today, to tamp things down.
So in a nutshell, she basically just saying that most people are followers, so you got to be careful what you say, because people will just blindly follow you, because most people can't form an opinion on their own.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And I think that's the problem with society today, because that is true. You got so many people who just blindly follow people because they might like an idea, or they just might like them in general, without actually doing any type of research on their own. And when you get so many people doing stuff like that, combined with just listening to a rhetoric that just been driven into your mind repeatedly after years and years and years, you get stuff like we were just seeing this past Saturday.
Listen, I just saw, like all of you, that President Trump was just shot at his rally in Pennsylvania. And I will tell you, these people are evil, and that President Trump has known that they are wanting to take him out. This man has stood through challenges that I've seen no other person stand through. And he has taken more hits for the American people than ever before. These people are evil. They need to be eliminated from power, and President Trump is the only one who can do that.
What?
God bless President Trump. And God protect him and keep him and his family safe. And he will win this election because he loves this country. And he fights for this country, and he fights for our kids.
Well, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Well, I'm gonna have to give Governor Christie a little pushback, because the only one who can eliminate evil from power is God Almighty and Jesus Christ himself.
Oh, say less.
But as far as Donald Trump, I believe that he would be a good politician. I mean, he was a good president 4 years ago, and we're now in our 4th-year period of Joe Biden being president. So most people can just compare the two. You can see which one was better, which was clearly Donald Trump.
Yes.
And being still the economy down, you got war going on all around the world. I think Donald Trump is the perfect candidate to eliminate all that because that's what he did when he was in office. So yes, I think Donald Trump is a good candidate for the presidency, but by no means necessary. I think that he's the only person who can eliminate evil.
You're telling me this guy was able to walk up with a rifle in his hand and scale a roof, and you don't think the Secret Service, and let me tell you, they get there days before. Let me tell you how a security apparatus is supposed to run. Days before, they get in and they look at every possible angle in which somebody could hurt the president, okay? And I'm not even talking about once you get to the Secret Service. I'm talking about if you just have security in general. Before you speak, they will go, hey, this is the stage? Okay, let me tell you, that right there is a problem. They'll mark that as a spot. That right there is a problem. We need to know who this person is. They'll knock on doors, okay? They got to figure out every possible angle that any individual could potentially get on a roof, because you know what? This has happened in the past.
Word?
And she's telling the truth. And we already got examples of it in history. Lee Harvey Oswald was the prime example of what she's talking about. And the thing about the security detail going there days before to check on any potential dangers on the day of the event, she's absolutely right about that, because I did security for years, and I used to do security for the Made in America event that they host here in Philadelphia every year, where all the major celebrities come out. And one of the things that they used to do is they would hire us like a week prior, and all the police and all these other type of law enforcement agencies, probably the FBI, I'm not 100% sure, but you got people like Rihanna, Jay-Z, like billionaires and everything be there. So you got major law enforcement people being there, and they work with us, and we have to work with them. And they got people on roofs all around downtown, because it's hosted in downtown Philadelphia in the Parkway right in front of the Art Museum. If anyone who's been to Philly or even live in Philly, they know what I'm talking about. And they just check out everything just to make sure everything is safe, because you can't have anything happening to the celebrities going on out there. So when you got something like a president or a former president, and you got Secret Service, like, they should be really on top of that. So yeah, she's absolutely right about that.
People have been shot from roofs. People have been shot from windows. There is a 0% chance that some random person with a rifle was able to scale a roof, unless there was just an unbelievable failure in intelligence. And you want to know why it's unbelievable? Because I don't effing believe it.
My nigga.
I want the names of the Secret Service agents that allowed this remarkable security failure to go down. Because I don't believe this. I'm done with this. I don't believe this, not for 1 second. Having been around the president, having literally almost watched my husband get shot because he came down the wrong set of stairs at the NRA, screaming at him. And I jump in front of someone like, don't shoot him, that's my husband. And you're telling me they knew he was gonna speak and they weren't worried about the roofs?
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
And she's absolutely right, because it's reported that he was only 150 yards away from President Trump on that roof. And why wasn't any Secret Service or any type of FBI agents, any local law enforcement out there in Butler, why was none of those people on that roof or even in that vicinity?
You got me.
And you got several eyewitnesses stating that they seen the guy prior to the shooting, and that they were signaling the police, saying that, you know, the guy was up there on the roof, and they would like, the police were just shoving him off and everything. So you got people calling this some type of conspiracy. Then you got others saying that it was all fake. I don't know about the whole fake thing, because I don't think several people would have got injured, and even someone even lost their lives if it was fake. But this is just a sad situation, and it pretty much exposed the Democratic Party, because for years they were talking about the right wing and the conservative group, the Republicans, the MAGA, all the people from January 6th. Well, this trumps January 6th. How about that? That's a play on words for you. But it absolutely does, because even in January 6th, it was all the commotion but no one actually lost their lives. Someone lost their lives the other day, and that's something that you can never take back. So now it's going to be a deep investigation, because now they got to figure out if he was working by himself or if there was any type of accomplice, because there were rumors saying that he was in group chats and he was talking with other people who felt the same way about Trump and the MAGA organization. There's even videos out there of a film at a Trump rally screaming and hollering at all the Trump supporters, saying all types of provocative words. So that's something I might get into next. But as of right now, Trump is safe, and God be with the family of the person who lost their life, and God be with the people who was injured, and God be with President Trump. And I'm hoping that now that people will actually start to see that all that demonizing Trump is going to lead to a lot worse, because you got people actually foolish enough who actually believe all that. And most of the people in the world are followers. Most people are not leaders. So when you say certain things, you got stuff like this that's going to happen, and it's going to keep happening if they continue to demonize Trump. Now, he said that he's going to continue his campaign, so I think that's a good look for him. And like I said earlier, now I think that it's for sure that he's going to win, because then you got so many people who united in support of Trump, because regardless of how they may have felt about him in the past, most people don't want to see something like that, because he almost lost his life on national television, and that would have been something crazy.
He ain't lying.
We didn't see something like that since JFK in the 1960s. So I think that it's messed up. But there's going to be some more information coming out in the next couple of days, in a few weeks. So I'll be sure to report on that. But as of right now, that's all I got. So I'll see y'all the next one. Peace.